I'm Alex Jones. This is the GCN Radio Network. Bob Chapman is our guest. I'm going to open the phones up for your financial questions for Bob at 1-800-259-9231. We've got a member of We Are Change that infiltrated the Trilateral Commission meeting in Dublin, Ireland, joining us coming up. That ties in with the breaking article, Trilateral Commission wants war with Iran. Make sure we have those videos of him confronting David Rockefeller ready from that meeting. Good. Both of them outside and inside. We're going back to Bob Chapman here in a moment. I want to tell you about a few of the sponsors that have made today's radio show possible. One of them is Pure Water Freedom. I want to tell you about purewaterfreedom.com. That's one word, purewaterfreedom.com. If you want to affordably remove fluoride from your tap water, visit purewaterfreedom.com. They have a full line of household fluoride filters. You can even remove fluoride from every water source in your home with a whole house fluoride system. It goes through your children's skin, and they breathe it, folks. The chemical attack is very hard to defeat. They have a wide variety of filters to remove all types of toxins from your water, including shower and bath filters. All the filters are made in the USA. Made in the USA. Check out their banners on prisonplanet.com and infowars.com, or go to purewaterfreedom.com to take control of your water supply today. Also want to thank the great folks at frontsight.com. This is Alex Jones again, and I want to tell you I believe in frontsight.com and their incredible Second Amendment information and their world-class gun training. You can attend 5 days of world-class gun training at Front Sight Firearms Training Institute and secure a 30-state concealed weapons permit, all for pennies on the dollar. Plus, if you act fast, the Millionaire Patriot will give you a free Springfield Armory XT pistol in the caliber of your choice. I believe now is the time for you and your family need to be armed and trained to levels that exceed law enforcement and military standards. Frontsight provides such training without any boot camp or mentality or drill instructor attitudes. The Millionaire Patriot is paying his own money to help you get this. This is real. Front Sight, like the front of your rifle, frontsight.com. That's frontsight.com. And don't forget, we started shipping them today. Here it is in my hot little hands for prisonplanet.tv viewers. Don't Tread on Me, Rise of the Republic, 10th Amendment, 9th Amendment, how we're going to take the states back, the difference between a democracy and a republic. R.J. Harris, Michael Bagnerick, Tom DeWeese, Alex Jones, Edwin Vieira, Richard Mack, Cynthia Davis, Charles Key, and many others. Read the description, watch the trailers at Infowars.com. Check out the online video bookstore. Don't forget the two new films we've released the last month. Invisible Empire and Dual Order Defined, essential information, powerful film, and, of course, Police State 4, The Rise of FEMA, all available at Infowars.com. And don't forget Bob Chapman's powerful website, TheInternationalForecaster.com. One word, TheInternationalForecaster.com. Bob Chapman, okay, you've got the floor until we go to calls at the end of this segment, the next segment. I want to hold you 5 minutes over if you can. Go through it. Let's go back to 3-4 years ago. Been interviewing you for 10 since you came out of retirement. But let's go back to 3 years ago. You can give the dates of the forecaster, 40-something pages, twice a week. I mean, I remember you over and over again. They're going to implode the economy. Here were the derivatives, 2008, 2009, or 10. You were saying that in 2006, 7, 8. You said then Europe will start with Greece, then Portugal, then Spain, then Italy. I mean, you just like literal crystal ball. They've just declassified a Pentagon report from 2005. They knew this, and that's actually up on Drudge Report today. But go over from the beginning and then where it's going next. Look into that ball again, so we have a good idea from your mind what's going to unfold next.
Well, very quickly, the members of the Eurozone. There were 14 at that time, which included Greece and Italy eventually, and they had to prove their financial worth. And, public debt had to be less than 3% of GDP. If it wasn't, they would get fined. Of course, along through the last 10 years, they've all gone over that number, so it's meaningless. But the very point is that Greece and Italy should have never been allowed in. And I can remember Prodi from Italy, who was making speeches in Germany to the effect that, we'll build a pipeline to send milk to Germany so that they'll have plenty of milk if you'll allow Greece into the European Union. Well, we found out in the interim some of the things I just talked to you about earlier, and I think what they were up to, and I said this on the program sometime, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, is that Greece was to be the poster boy, so to speak, in the effort to bring down the entire world economy.
And they now admit that. I mean, the Greece thing was a smokescreen. That's actually a Reuters headline for the European bailout.
Well, it didn't start that way. It started, they wanted to use Greece to extend. Greece is broke, there's no question. And they wanted to extend the life of Greece for about a year and a half, 2 years, until they could get all their other chickens in line. There's 19 of them. And a number of them are outside the European Union, of course. There's the United States and Japan and England and Venezuela and Peru, not Peru, Venezuela, Bolivia, and Ecuador. I think Uruguay may go the same way. Argentina's broke again. Unfortunately, Chile's been subject to terrible earthquakes, which is beside that. But there comes to 19 right now. And it was my feeling that they wanted to bring them all together a year and a half down the line, 2 years down the line, and everybody would devalue and everybody would default, and it would all be arranged. They've done this before. But they never expected that Greece would say, hey, no, we've had enough. We're not going to do that. We didn't know what they were doing, and we really didn't. And the bankers who made these loans, these bonds that they purchased, should have never done so. And so we're not going to pay, and we're not going to be involved, and we're not going to be put under austerity. Now you're hearing the same thing from Portugal and Spain and Ireland.
So it's a rebellion against the banker looting.
Exactly. That's a perfect way to put it. Now, the same thing's going to happen in America, but they're not quite ready for it yet. But it will happen. And so you're going to have this disgruntlement, these demonstrations. You may even see civil war in some countries, and Greece is a good example of where that could happen. At the same time, we're talking about the Trilateral Commission calling for a Third World War because they want to diffuse and deflect the attention from their efforts to bring down the world economically and financially, but at the same time blame it on a war with Iran or whoever they're going to attack. And that's what they're up to. And their plans have been thrown up in the air. Greece has screwed the whole thing up for them. So now they're going to have to come up with all this money, and $1 trillion is not going to do it, I promise you, of which $65 billion is coming from the United States via the IMF. So you American citizens out there should be happy to know that you're helping to bail recalcitrant countries, at least in Europe at this time. And, you know, what is really sad is Estonia is on the verge of collapse financially, and they're ready to join the Eurozone, which I don't think they should at this time. But there's 19 nations, and they're trying to keep them all afloat now because they underestimate what the Greeks did. And so they're gonna have to continue to pour money into that situation, and it's going to cause hyperinflation in Europe, and we're going to have hyperinflation in the United States, and eventually it'll turn into total deflation. And that's the way we're headed. And as far as you mentioned what went on 2 weeks ago, my take is, and this is to do with the plunge in the market, my take's the same as Max Kaiser's. It was a government operation. It was a terrorist attack on the people who invest in the U.S. stock market. And the reasons why they showed their power, probably using Goldman and others to knock the market down by sucking the liquidity out of the derivative market. And they wanted to tell Congress, look, this is what we can do. And if you don't stop a real audit of the Fed, and if you try to break up the too big to fail banks, this is what we're going to do to you. And, of course, Congress does, and they were paid off, too, does exactly what they're told. And so we now have some rinky-dink one audit situation on the Fed where they're